Hello and welcome to Revolution Rail, and welcome to the first update for the Campton Halt Model Railway. Now I'm really excited about this, guys. It's the first update, first time you get to see the actual layout. But obviously we can't run into that first. We've got to start with the design of it all. So to start off designing this layout, I've got it around my room, so obviously I measured out my room. Now I only measured it to the nearest 10 centimeters. It doesn't have to be that accurate, because then I went into a program called AnyRail. Now this is a brilliant program if you're wanting to do any sort of scale of model railway. It even includes Lego and Scalextrics if you want it. Now this is a brilliant program. It's free, but it only limits you to 50 pieces. But there's tons of stuff on there. Like you can get all the track, you can get all the scenery, including signals, buildings, trees if you wanted it. It's all on there. It's brilliant. Now I designed my layout using that, and unfortunately my layout had more than 50 pieces. So what I did is actually made 2 copies and split them halfway down my layout, and I managed to figure everything out. So that's all good. Next off, we've got the baseboards. I'm running through this really quickly because I want to get showing you the scenery, because I think that's the most interesting part. If you want details about baseboard building, then I could do that, but it's not really my favourite thing, and I don't think I'm 100% good at it. So I don't really want to share shoddy tips. Anyway, baseboards. They're made out of 44 by 28 millimeter wood, or timber, whatever you want to call it, to form the frame, and then on top is a 3.6mm sheet of plywood. Now I suggest you use plywood above MDF all the time, because it's a much sturdier and stronger material. It won't warp, or it will warp over time, but that's with all wood, but it won't disintegrate like MDF does. I suggest it for any model railway. Don't use MDF. If you've got MDF on your layout already, don't worry. Just make sure you don't have it in a wet place, because wet places, wood doesn't work well with wet places. So with this layout being around my room, obviously I've got to not have supports coming down to the ground, because obviously I've got furniture and my bed. So what I've done is I've actually attached the baseboards to the ceiling. Now I really like this idea because it keeps everything to do with this layout is above the bottom of the layout. There's nothing below it, which I find gives me more space below for my living, and it's good. Now it's attached to the ceiling using 6mm threaded rod. This runs down parallel to the edge of the board and screws into a angled bit of ironmongery. It's basically just screwed together, and on the wall is just a little chunk of wood to keep it held in place. Now, just in case I do need to take this down at all, it's all fitted together using screws and nuts, or bolts, or whatever you want to call it. So if I want to take a section out, I wouldn't have to get the screwdriver out or anything. It would just simply unbolt, which I think is quite a good idea. And next of all, the track bed. The track bed is made out of 9mm thick plywood. Now I've chosen a thicker board material for this because I don't want the trains to be going up and down on a slightly warped board, because these really thin sheets of ply, they do have a tendency of not holding themselves straight, and that they are quite flexible, which is good because they're really light. I wouldn't make the whole board out of 9mm ply because that would make it so heavy. But where the trains run on, I strongly suggest you use a thicker bit of plywood. Don't use MDF again. MDF is bad. Not only does it cause you health problems with the sawdust, it's just a bad material. Well, I hope you found that first part interesting. Sorry about the blurring. I don't know why it's blurring. Stop. Hopefully stop make it blurring. I don't know, I've had that issue with this camera. Anyway, moving on. As you can see, I've built this viaduct. Now, this sort of shows how far away from the bottom of the baseboard my track's going to be sitting. It'll be right up there. And because of that, I've got these boards. See these yellow bits of paper? I've got one bit running around here. These are spray adhesive onto the bit of wood, and then, because if we just look over here, you can see that it does come off eventually. So yeah, obviously just leave a bit of marking, but it's just on the bit of ply. So that's, I've got a double track running around the outside going over the bridge. I've then got this here. Sorry about the sunlight, it's sort of distorting things, which I showed just recently. And this is a single track that will go round. And then we've got here, which is in the narrow track that I showed. This goes round and loops back round. And this is our narrow gauge track. Bit sharp. I'd have to file these bits down. But I've been working on some of the terrain, so let's pop that in there and have a look. Right, so the polystyrene boards in the other shop may have given this away, but here we've got our beginning of a hill. We're going to have a hill rise up all the way into the corner of my room here. I'm leaving the background as it is with a blue and grey, because they're kind of sky colours. I don't really want to be putting stuff on my wall, really. But anyway, here we've got a river bed, so it meanders down. Obviously I haven't done the other side yet. That's going to come when I start on the next board. Now clearly that is a mess at the moment. Probably I would say 90% of you who do layouts as well probably have the same sort of mess when you first start a layout, because you've got all this room, all this boards, so you just have stuff on there. It gets difficult when you've finished and you've run out of space. You can't just rest stuff on there. But we've got this sort of hill. The narrow gauge track is going to come run behind here on this foam. So this foam is going to be what's supporting it, and then obviously a bridge and that. But it's not going to be like this. I'm going to be getting a hot wire knife and cutting along this line to try and create a nicer hill shape, sort of bring it in, sort of try and be natural as I can. But anyway, I'm going to maybe cut out some more foam. It is messy, but anyway, try and get a bit more of the hill in so we can have a show. By the end of this week I hope to have this video out. Not the whole hill done, but this video will be out anyway. If you want some more information on this polystyrene here, it's from Wix. I got a load of it for about 12 quid. It's really useful, much better than, I would say, paper mache, like the newspaper balls, rubbing those up, or chicken wire. I've tried chicken wire before. It's absolutely horrible to work with. You just keep getting poked and whatever, and it just doesn't form to the shape you want it to. So I've gone for this, and I know some other modelers do that as well. So yeah. Okay, so I've done some more work here. As you can see, the hill's coming along quite nicely. Looks a bit steep at the moment, but obviously I'm going to get a hot wire foam tool, and that's going to get sorted. Hopefully get a smoother slope. We got the narrow gauge line down here, and then we've got standard gauge track up here. So yeah, I think that'll make a nice sort of a valley scene there. Obviously there's going to be a few more bridges and have 2 more tracks. Have the viaduct that I showed you at the beginning right at the back. Have another narrow gauge bridge coming across here. So obviously this has got a loop round back. Yeah. So hopefully that will come along nicely. But anyway, that's all I've got time for today. If you have enjoyed the video, then please leave a like. Make sure you subscribe to catch up with the next update. Hopefully that'll be in around about a month's time. So I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.